Hi Boost teachers! In this video, we'll take a look at two ways you can see how each of your students performed on the course Diagnostic. As a reminder, the Diagnostic is automatically administered to students through the Navigator platform on their first login. It's 6 questions, and each question has multiple parts, and each question is additionally associated with one unit in the course. If students master a question, meaning they score mastery level at each question, they'll skip the corresponding unit in their course. Let's start out by just checking numerically how each student did on the Diagnostic. So I've logged into my teacher account. I'm going to be working in this course. If you have more than one course, you can do this for each group of students. I am going to click on my performance overview icon. It's right here. It's the 4th icon. If you happen to already be on your class page, you can click on the Performance Overview tab at the top of your screen. If we scroll down a bit, the bottom left box says Class Progress. This is where you can access your class progress report, which should be useful throughout the year, but also specifically for checking how your students performed on the Diagnostic. So I'm going to click on the header here where it says Class Progress to take me to my report. And I can see report by default at the day level. What I'm going to do, since my students have taken the Diagnostic on different days, is I'm just going to set this to all time. However, you can set it to a specific week or a specific date. Whenever your students have taken the Diagnostic, you can control the date of the report. I can see all of my students' work, including their competency gains, their time spent, average score, etc. What I'm interested in today, though, is that Diagnostic score. Let's take Margaret here. To find out how she did on her Diagnostic, what I'm going to do is just click on her name, and that expands a report of everything that Margaret's worked on. So I can see she's worked on quite a bit of material here. So she's worked on her Diagnostic and additional lessons, so that's great. What we're going to do is click Report by Date, and I can see all of her work has come on October 25th, so I'm going to click the date to expand it. And again, I can see here by date all of the things Margaret has worked on. The little percentage signs indicate assessments, which are used to assess mastery. And the little waffle symbol here is a collection of resources or videos. So I'm just going to scroll a bit. I see Diagnostic right here. So there is only one Diagnostic in the course. So if you see the name Diagnostic, that's it. I can see Margaret scored a 42% overall. To get a better view of what Margaret answered, we can actually click on that score to get an expanded report. I can see how long Margaret spent, and I can see her responses. So it looks like she did very well in questions 1, most of question 2, some of question 3, and then it sort of devolves from there. I can see in general how Margaret has done on her Diagnostic, including her specific answers. So that is how you can quantitatively assess how each student has done on their Diagnostic. You can click on their name, click Report by Date, and then just expand, find Diagnostic, click on it to see how they answered. So that gives you pretty detailed information about how students scored and what their responses were. If you are interested in slightly less detailed information or more qualitative information, the way we can access that is by going to our Student Locator tab. So I'm going to click on that. And I can also, let's take us all the way back to the beginning so I can show you how to get in from the outside. So we were just in our Performance Overview tab. Remember, we clicked that lower left box that took us to our class progress report. Now we're going to go to our Student Locator tab, and this will give us another way to see how our students have done on the Diagnostic. So I'm going to click on Student Locator, and here's the information I can see here. So each of these represents a student's skyline. As a refresher, along the bottom, the x-axis of each skyline is the domains or units in your course. So Unit 1, consonants, Unit 2, vowel sounds, etc. Each of those columns represents one unit. The boxes going upward, each box represents one competency or standard, or in this case, lesson. So I can see student G has mastered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entire units. They have blue filled in for every single lesson in these units. So if we recall back to what we just saw on the class progress report with Margaret, we could see she did a whole bunch of work outside her diagnostic. So this particular view is helpful if you can catch it right after the students have completed their diagnostic. If the students have done other work, it's a little hard to tell from this view what they've done on their diagnostic versus what they haven't. So if you are looking, say, at the end of the week, I would use the class progress report that we looked at prior to this example to see how your students did on each diagnostic and what their answers were. If, on the other hand, all your students take the diagnostic on Wednesday, maybe Wednesday after school, you can look at all of the skylines like we have here and see how your students have done. So if we remember all the way back to the beginning of the video, I mentioned that each question in the diagnostic is associated with one unit. So if a student masters the question on consonants, meaning they show proficiency in consonants, they'll start out skipping that entire unit in their learning journey or their independent study pathway. So if the student shows in their diagnostic, they already know how to do consonants at a proficient level, then that'll be excluded from their learning journey and it'll be filled in blue on their skyline here. So it's all mastered. There's nothing left to do in that particular domain. So I know students Evelyn, Dina, and Margaret have already done some work after their diagnostic. I know student G has only done their diagnostic. They haven't done any additional work. So I can see right off the bat, just at this view, student G, based on their diagnostic, will be skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entire units. So clearly they did well on their diagnostic. You can also click into any student's skyline to get a closer view of what is going on. So again, along the bottom, we have our unit names. So I can see this student showed proficiency in consonant sounds, digraphs, consonant blends, long vowel sounds, vowel teams, and soft C and G just in their diagnostic. So their learning journey will begin with the introductory video, and then it'll bring them right to Unit 2, which is short vowel sounds.